What can I do for you?
I'm interested in this.
Hello, and welcome to another Jota Zeta stream. My name is Jota Zeta. We're playing Dragon Age the Veilguard, which I don't know why they wouldn't call it Dragon Age Veilguard, but the is very important. Otherwise, they might think it's just a Veilguard rather than the Veilguard. Ooh, what's this? I guess this chase got lost in the fade and so much up to our doorstep. Is it just me or does the armor look somehow familiar? Something like an old friend would wear. Did I get like a... Oh, is it dark? I don't know. I don't think I have any filters added to it. Maybe I can turn up the brightness? It looks fine on my screen. Let's see. Display. Uncapped. Brightness. How's that looking? Is that looking better? Oh, it's a gift from the developers. Okay. Did some... Oh, is it because of like all like the issues? Is it like bribery? Oh, now it's too bright? Okay. Welcome to my stream where the tech issues that I had for an hour and a half continue. Where I forgot all of the menu buttons. So I can't even look at the new armor that I got. Wait, is it not armor? It's just like my casual armor? Oh, it was given out on November 7th. I see what it's doing. I see what it's trying to say. Oh, but Saber Force, I don't know what a wardrobe is yet. It sounds complex and complicated. Maybe I should go unpack first. In this mystical unblocked hallway. Ooh, I get to settle in. Ooh, I get to place my favorite ancient elven scroll.
A peddler gave me this after I saved his caravan from bandits. He told me the scroll went back even before Tevinter. Said that elves had a rich history. Even more than the rest of us.
I'm so glad the merchant told me that, an elf. You know, we also face prejudice, because we've just got prejudiced.
Too many humans look down on us, even though elves were here first. Yeah. Nice to have someone see how much our people have done.
Also, you may have noticed, my avatar looks slightly different. He doesn't look nearly as big-eyed and bulgy as he did before. He looks a little bit smoother, a little bit more like a human. Well, like an elf, really. But he has that vibe that he's going for. I got some help from one of my stream members. Thank you, Saber Force, for sitting down and getting this done and helping me out with that. He looks a lot better.
Best drink of my whole life. Fresh water from this pitcher after Varric and I got out of the trap set by that double-crossing noble. We didn't know how close he was to the throne of Ravane. Or that stopping him would get me kicked out of the Lords of Fortune until the heat dies down.
I was impulsive. I made the right call. I suppose I was fair. Right. I'm an arrogant, cocky person. I made the right call.
Who cares about the politics? I kept a dangerous artifact out of Venatori hands. The Lords should have had my back.
So one artifact from your race, one artifact from your backstory. This game does a lot of it acts like you aren't an elf and stuff all the time. I believe it. I understand that you have to do a little bit of that when you're playing a game. You have to kind of have like that blank slate. Like it's like Commander Shepard in Mass Effect 1. He was always just like, tell me about how things work. And it's like the very common stuff that everyone should know about. Tell me more about how Mass Effect guns work. Tell me more about Mass Effect technology. Ooh, his shaving mirror.
Varric and his life lessons. I asked him how we were supposed to stop Solus, and he gave me this. Take a long, hard look in it, kid. It'll always show the face of a hero who can get it done.
I really, really like easy Mass Effect builds. I really like how the voice actor got to pretend to be a different voice actor for a little bit. That was really, really good. Oh. So I can look at this. Oh my gosh. So there are particular options based off of this, with the things that we can talk about. They help me love myself. They celebrate success. I thought hard about these. So, self-expression, I guess, and then an actual elven option. I mean, I'm going to go with the elven option here.
The Valasleen are sacred for the elves. I didn't grow up Dalish, but they're not the only ones who have a claim on being elven. My tattoos represent who I am, and I'll wear that for all the world to see.
It was weird how that had so many options. It feels like it was a thing for self-expression, but again, I don't think it's going to affect any choices down the line, which is a little bit weird. Also, I should have a fourth thing to play somewhere, right? But, here. But they are slave market. I know! They're saying, oh, I belong to this god and I belong to that god. But it's fair that my elf character doesn't know that. Until maybe he does later. I guess we'll see. Or if someone else will just explain it later.
Meditation upon the use of blades. Must have read this thing cover to cover a dozen times during weapons training.
For all the good it did.
Most fights ended with me knocking my opponent down with a kick instead of some fancy move.
I read it from cover to cover.
Right.
I didn't do anything
That's
with it.
better. Now, how do I connect to Solus? Just sleep or relaxing? Maybe if I clear my mind.
Oh, maybe I still won't get that there, though. Okay, let's do this. Let's meditate. Let's see how mad he is at me.
Back so soon. It must have been worse than I had thought.
Hello, Dreadwolf.
Ah, but perhaps I am mistaken. You may be here to correct me, to tell me that my concerns were unfounded. Perhaps nothing escaped as you stopped me from... what was it? Covering the world with demons?
Really, game? I get that. I get that. I need to know that the choice I made affected my actions. I needed to know that. I couldn't just know that. All right. Nothing escaped. Yeah, you know it did.
As you clearly already knew, something did escape. Elganon and Gillenane. Blighted.
Thank you for letting me know.
You'll recall I also said that you don't get to sit back and look smug.
What else could I be doing?
I need to know what the gods are planning.
You are asking for knowledge no mortal in this world is privy to. If I am to share it with you, I need to know what makes you the right person to lead the fight against Algernon and Gillenane.
Ooh. Well, not all choices do, though, didn't you know? Yeah, I know that, but it's good to know. I don't need something telling me, hey, you made a decision. So you look at that. It could be different here. It should just let it flow naturally. I'll look again for that in the settings. Maybe I can turn that off. But as for this, I punch up.
I stopped you, didn't I?
You disrupted the ritual.
Yeah, I did. Even though I'm nowhere near as powerful as you.
Your plan is to tell me how powerful you aren't?
Back in the Lords of Fortune, I was hired to accompany this noble who was hunting for an old relic. The noble betrayed us and left us to die in an ancient ruin collapsing around us.
But you escaped with your team and then tracked down and prevented the noble from selling the relic to the Venatori.
How'd you know that?
You helped Varric pursue me for the better part of a year. It would have been foolish not to learn about who was hunting me.
Then you know that powerful opposition doesn't frighten me. I find a way to get the job done, whatever it takes.
I suppose I was not so different when I started.
Started what?
My rebellion against the Evanuris. The elven gods, as you call them.
Yeah.
They wish to reclaim their dominion over this world. To accomplish that, they will need two things. First, the Blight. What exists in this world is a bare fragment of its power. The rest is imprisoned. Until they release it.
Okay. So... Ooh, more options. It didn't Is it didn't escape?
The Blight didn't escape with the gods?
Algernon and Gillenane escaped largely empty-handed, fortunately. Most of the Blight is still trapped in the prison I created ages ago.
So what we saw at that village, that's them not at full strength?
Correct.
Okay, all right. We're getting some lore pieces. We're getting some ideas. It's bigger than what we have.
The rest of the Blight is imprisoned? There's more than what's in the world already?
Yes. Centuries ago, the Magisters of Tevinter opened my prison. A tiny fragment of the Blight escaped. That fragment grew beneath the earth and led to the Blights that have swept across the world. However terrible the Blight is now, it is a mere fraction of what we will see if its full power is unleashed.
Oh, so that casually just changes everything about the Blight and Darkspawn then, doesn't it? I don't know how I feel about that. Like, I get the maker and like the city being empty, kind of. But then but Corypheus said that they went there and that they saw no gods. That was empty. Yeah, like it makes. I get that, but. I don't know. I guess I just can't reconcile the fact with like the Black City was empty supposedly, but then the Blight came out. Did it like hit them and corrupt them? Like then what was Corypheus trying to do? Was he trying to just does Blight self-defeating, or if it doesn't like I don't know. Am I making sense, or am I just giving this game too hard of a time? You're my lore expert here, Saber416. You gotta give me something. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and ask why blight the world?
I don't understand. Elgernon and Gillenane were elves like you, right? Why would they want to blight the world?
It is my fault. As the Dreadwolf, I was a thorn in their side. When my efforts weakened their grasp on the elven people, they grew frustrated, then desperate.
And turned to the Blight.
Once the corruption took hold of them, they were blind to its horror. It was just another source of power for them. Now they would blight the world without hesitation and call us backward and foolish for opposing them.
Okay, so the Blight corrupts people and turns them into monsters, But once they do that, they're just like, you know, whatever. We're cool with it now. That also makes it seem like it's less interesting. Well, what if they didn't meet the Maker, but just met the Blight instead when they thought, which they thought they caused, and then the story of Andraste starts. Well, the story of Andraste, all of that makes sense and everything. Like, that can be separate. Like that can be separate. I guess it could work if they opened the city, just saw a little bit, and then saw it was blighted, then were instantly corrupted. I guess it's just hard for me to believe that Solus had just captured all of the blight and put it in there, and only a little bit has caused all the problems that we've seen so far. I do know the story of Andraste. The Tevinter Empire was everywhere, and they were impressing everyone, and she rose up with, like, her elven friend and her husband, and then they started marching towards Tevinter with the people behind them, and she was known as the Bride of the Maker, and that the Maker favored her, and then she got betrayed, and she got killed by her husband? Because it wasn't the elf, I think, that killed her. And then that caused a whole riot, and then everyone fell apart, and then the Chantry and everyone like that started fighting. Tevinter started shrinking and shrinking. And she's kind of like heralded as like the big the big figure, the big Christ-like figure in the whole thing. Okay, so how do we stop them?
What would they need to do to free the Blight? And how do we stop them from doing it?
They will need to pierce the veil to reach the Blight's prison. My lyrium dagger is one of the few artifacts capable of doing so.
We've already recovered it from the ritual site.
Excellent. Then they will have to make their own. That will give you time.
You said the gods needed two things, and the Blight is the first. What's the second?
Followers. They have called themselves gods. And what is a god without worshippers to sing their praises?
I'm not going to bend a knee to blighted, murdering monsters just because their ears are pointed like mine. I don't think many other elves are going to either.
Agreed. Elganan and Gillenane care little for the elves. They will find worshippers among those hungry for power. Tyrants and bullies. The cruel and the corrupt, who fear their own vulnerability and seize any chance to feel strong. If you hunt them, they will lead you to Elganan and Gillenane.
That also I feel kind of disappointed by. I think it would have been more interesting if the elves saw this as like a way to reclaim their power and their ancient cities. Like, I feel like that would be a very interesting thing to do rather than just, only bad people will get affected and corrupted by it. Although that does fit the Blight a little bit better. Anyway, thanks.
Thank you. I'll go poke at the cruel and the corrupt, and we'll see what we find.
The Veravas, the lighthouse Eluvian, can take you anywhere, if you master its secrets. Have you done so?
Not yet, but we've got one of the Veil Jumpers working on it. She'll get it sorted, and we'll see how it goes.
Yes, I suppose we will. And when you speak with Varric, please tell him that I regret what happened.
I don't suppose freeing Solus would be out of the picture here, would it? I guess we got it. Hey, the wardrobe! What fancy a new feature this could be. Alright, so we can change our casual gear. So this is our fortune cast. Oh, we can do our plates. Oh, Spectre. Okay, so Spectre of Battles Past. That looks... I don't... Oh. I think that's a... With the red arm, with the red sleeve arm here. Okay, I get that. I get that. I get it. It's a reference too. It's not like a direct thing. Okay. And this also is like a similar thing, but it's like lighter armor. I like it. I like it. It's a nice way to translate the look and the feel. Oh, these are all armor designs. And I don't have any other good ones to look casual. And I need to change this. The sandals I'm not a huge fan of. But I do like how they added transmog so that you can just kind of have whatever there. I think that's nice. But I'm not super like dedicated to any look. So I'll actually. I did like my beat up armor look. I honestly might just keep it. With like a dumb command helmet, like a shiny like that. Actually, this doesn't look too bad from the back. I think I'll keep it. We're gonna do the default appearance. I want to see what the appearance looks like when we get it. Yeah. No, let's go. Yeah, let's do this. All right. Oh, we can decorate? Oh. Oh. Interesting. We can gather stuff and then we can decorate our little house. So that was a tutorial rather than just a thing that we could do. Interesting. You're most correct, Vinter. Opening up the Black City causes a blight, which they fought for a long time with the Chantry split into two. One was magic-based and the other... Black City, Corypheus, and the Seven became Darkspawn and were sealed by those into Vinter who were embarrassed by the failure that happened. Oh, right! That they were sealed by... They were sealed. Okay, so they... Okay. After that side of a war with Makers, worshipping the side of the Chantry and starting with Andraste's story. Yeah, okay. Yeah, because they took the whole blight thing, like, to the next step. I remember that. All right, Eric, let's tell you that Solus is a jerk.
So Solus told the truth about the gods.
You heard? It's bad, Varric. If you'd seen Demeter's crossing...
The team needs to act fast. And it can't do that with me leading from a bed. You've got to take point on this.
Ooh. That's right. I feel guilty for what happened to Varric. That was my character's motivation. I can't replace you.
I can't do what you do. I've barely been holding it together in the short time you've been out.
You don't need to do what I do. You just need to get it done. Rook, when I put this team together, what did I look for? A detective to find the Dreadwolf, and a scout to get us the lay of the land. Exactly the people he'd expect me to recruit. Disciplined, predictable. And then there's you. Remember when we first met, kid? That scheming noble locked us up inside that tomb. Tightest corner I've ever been in. But you kept your cool. Fought off the Guardians. Discovered an escape route.
And triggered a cave-in?
The big one. Ravani leaders lined up to yell at you for that, but you've got a knack, kid.
For what?
Finding a way through the wildest shit I've ever seen.
Would have been fun to play that.
With a plan that no one expects. On the best day of his life, Solus wouldn't see you coming, Rook. And don't worry. I'll still be here to talk if you need me.
Ooh, fun. There's your daily dose of Dragonlance lore. I'm here all week, and feel free to prove me wrong. I haven't played the others in a while. Well, I will do what I can. Ooh, but we get to chat with him. I'm all for that. Let's talk about Harding being hurt.
There is something. When I took over at the ritual site, I had to make a call on who came with me to knock over that statue. It was the first decision I made leading this team, and Harding got hurt because of it.
You made a decision with the best information you had. Sometimes you do that, and people end up hurt. Or worse.
What would you have done?
What would I have done? Probably gotten myself killed and failed to stop the ritual if you hadn't stepped in. A good leader isn't someone who never makes mistakes. It's someone who admits when they make one. That's how you earn their trust.
See, but knowing what I know now about, like, if you like, whoever you choose is gonna get hurt. Does that make it a mistake, or does that make it an inevitability? But also, I agree with what Varric's saying, and I think maybe he's just approaching it from a different angle from him, him from a bed.
Did Nev tell you about me talking to Solus in the Fade?
I had some good arguments with Chuckles back in the day. I can't imagine being stuck with him in my head. But how are you feeling about it?
He's a butthole.
Your old friend is kind of an asshole, Varric.
I'd love to be a fly on the wall while the two of you get into it. Solus fought a rebellion against Elgar'nan and Gillenane. He didn't
New
want
information.
to be a god. But he's also a lot older and more powerful than any of us. He looks at us like we're toddlers.
So how do I deal with him?
Well, act like you're as smart as he is, and he'll be insufferable. Show him you respect his age and experience, and he'll remind you he's just a man. Honestly, pick whichever of those pisses you off less.
He also asked me to tell you that he regrets what happened. Hurting you, I mean.
Chuckles is sentimental. He could burn the world down, and the thing that would make him cry is a single flower with blackened petals.
It's an interesting response. He said he was sorry. As the world burns down, he would be worried about a flower. I think that's them trying to be poetic. It's an interesting angle. There's nothing wrong with it. I need to get out of my judging mode. I'm having fun. I'm having a good time. I'm playing a game. This is Dragon Age, my favorite game of all time.
Demeter's Crossing was awful. While we were there,
Rook.
we found one survivor, the mayor.
You
Even
took
Rook
him
doesn't
back
like this
to the
game.
Veil Jumpers.
Not everyone was happy about my decision. We're just starting out, and I'm already losing their trust.
The key to earning the team's trust isn't to only make decisions everyone agrees with. It's showing the team that they can tell you whatever's on their mind, even if they think you're full of crap. And know you'll listen.
And also, you need to manage their loyalty. There's a lot more to leadership than that, but okay, that's fine. We're good.
I'll let you get some rest.
He just needs to
You're
reaffirm
gonna
our
be
decisions.
Fine, Rook. Hey, one last thing before you go. I've been racking my brain thinking of contacts who might help us with these gods.
You got any ideas?
Nothing. But being a leader isn't about having all the answers yourself. It's about knowing who does. Nev has connections to a whole world that Harding and I barely know. Might be worth talking to her.
Will do. Thanks, Varric.
Anytime.
I don't suppose that he could have thought of anyone in the Inquisition that could have helped us. You know who'd be useful? I think Dorian would be useful. Maybe Iron Bull would be useful. I mean, Iron Bull's he's a big guy. I'm like for sure he could help us out. That's all right. Neve, tell us about stuff.
Hey, Nev.
Nev.
Hi, Wisps.
Yeah, they're still here, but you're here for leads. You want allies to go after the gods? I've got places to look, if we can get anywhere but Arlathan.
Valara's working on it. What have you got?
Let's start with the angles we know. The gods are corrupt magic personified. Who do we hire to fight that? First, the Antivan Crows.
You want to fight gods with assassins?
Not just any assassin, their most feared mage killer, the Demon of Virantium.
Mage killer. Okay.
Working with a feared mage killer doesn't bother you?
If he doesn't have a contract out on me, it's not a problem.
Is the reputation earned?
It's a fancy name. Can he back it up?
That's the question. The demon got his nickname taking out blood mages and Venatori. From everything I've learned, the reputation was earned. I never uncovered his real name, and there's been fewer stories the last few years, but the Crows would know. I can set a meeting with their bosses.
All right, good work, I guess.
This is great. Thanks, Nev.
It's what I'm here for.
You said the Crows were first. What's next?
A trip home.
Back to Minrathous.
Capital city and heart of Tevinter.
Oh.
An empire of mages that knows a thing or two about corrupt magic.
But both of us know that, Nev.
Tevinter Authority.
Won't help and can't be trusted, which is why we talk to the Shadow Dragons. They're a resistance group that fights slavers, blood magic, and imperial corruption. They've got eyes and ears everywhere, including mine. If the gods enter the Empire, we might get something. Besides, I owe them an update.
Are they all mages?
Tevinter might prize its mages, but the Shadows accept anyone. We've all got a stake in the cause.
I was actually about to make a comment. I'm like, we're both Shadow Dragons, but then I forgot that I forgot the story that was told to me like 3 times about how I got stuck in that cave, and I was thinking of my other playthrough where I do have a Shadow Dragon, and I was like, in my head was like, Neve, we're both Shadow Dragons. Did Neve explain what a Shadow Dragon was to you, even though you were a Shadow Dragon?
These people sound great. I mean, if they're anything like you.
No one's as good as they seem. But they try.
So we talked to the Crows in Antiva and the Shadow Dragons in Minrathous.
I wouldn't mind checking in on my neighborhood either. If Balara's ready for us.
Yeah. Should check how things are going.
Did I just give a casual point nod? That feels so, like, modern versus something I would see in a fantasy game. All right, so... Okay, so that was completed, and then we're doing, okay, into the crossroads. Okay. Yeah, it did, but I did... Oh, that you had a Shadow Dragon option. I guess that's nice. Did it explain it, and then was your character option to say, yeah, I know what a Shadow Dragon is. We were Shadow Dragons.
Almost there. I just have to... Shit! Sorry.
Can I help?
No, I've got it. Mostly,
Great.
mirrors are funny things, aren't they? Reflections. They distort reality, no matter what you try. And there's the trick. Control that distortion. There you have it. What is that place? If I had to guess, it's the Fade. Another part of it, I mean.
Didn't Morrigan say this Eluvian could go anywhere? Didn't think that meant elsewhere in the Fade.
She called it the Vir of Us. Freedom of ways. I wonder...
Maybe Morrigan was wrong? I like how that's the agreeable option. Maybe Morrigan was wrong. What do you wonder?
If you have an idea what that place is, Balara, share it. We don't have time to waste.
There we go.
Some of the older texts talk about a place in the Fade where all the Eluvians meet. A crossroads where you could travel across all of Thedas in just minutes.
Right. We saw something similar when we were chasing Solus. I wonder if it's the same.
It is alike, and it is not.
Oh, it's the archive spirit. They can explain the lore of the game and the mirror.
Either you found some way to get into the lighthouse without us seeing,
Oh, really?
or you've been here all along. Not sure which one worries me more.
The wolf's fang. You carry it now. Old paths. A new journey. Through there. I will wait.
Well, can't tell if that's a trap or not.
The first...
But we're short on options. One way to find out.
And it didn't feel dangerous, you know? Almost more sad.
Let's be careful. The first thing I thought of, Saberforce, I'm not going to lie, is from an Obsidian game called Tyranny. There's a guy that there's a giant magical man who's called the Scarlet Chorus, and he has multiple heads across his way. It's like I don't know. Maybe I'll get a closer look at him. Let's be careful.
We have no idea what or who they are.
Thank you.
Let's be careful. We need to be ready for anything.
And we still don't know what this Eluvian's gonna do. One of us should probably stay behind in case it closes.
Good point.
Just tell us when you're ready to go, Rook, and then we can figure out what's going on.
Fun. Balara, you're staying. By the way. There's a theory that you like a lot. We're gonna see this. We're gonna see this spirit guy like through here, right? All right, let's go.
Hello again. Who are you?
A caretaker. I go where I am needed, Dweller. Now, I am here.
And where is here?
The crossroads.
It's a pretty beautiful area. It was the crossroads which we found Solus in the last game, right? Yes, Jota Zeta. Thank you, Saberforce. But we also already knew that this was the crossroads because that's what they just said before we got here. I am going to stop saying that. Instead, we should probably just keep a tally. Every time that something is repeated, I'll take a sip of my drink. How about that? So it was like a gate to the crossroads? Yeah, okay. That's kind of fair. I just remember there being a lot of Eluvians that we had to cross through in and out of in order to follow Solus. And it was a lot of fun. Anyway, drink one. Oh. I don't buy that at all. I'm gonna hard veto that fan theory.
Can you help us? I get the feeling this is no place to get lost.
The Evanurus hunger for the crossroads. Their influence is spreading. Blight, death, madness. They send their minions to claim this place. The crossroads is in a time of need, Dweller. I cannot protect you.
You don't have to. If you're standing against the gods, then consider us reinforcements.
Well, it would make sense about that, except for one little problem. I think that this spirit has been here longer than 10 or 8 years. And also, what if you didn't make Cole a spirit and you made him human? Then what is he? Just another spirit? In order for that theory to work, it has to be consistent throughout any sort of interpretation. Ooh, discover beacons and gather, and then, yeah, and then member swapping and stuff like that. Got that. We're there. Yeah, it doesn't hold water. It's a spirit like Cole is. Like, because at the beginning, Cole is a spirit no matter what you do. Ooh.
Light, roots, and magical seals? What's through there?
This game only keeps 3 choices from Inquisition, so it could be. Yeah, but it's not going to discount all of your choices. It's just not going to mention them. It's not going to canonically choose, oh, this is what happened to this companion. It's going to leave them out as much as possible. A theory's not going to work if, oh, that could have been the decision. I think that this is the theory because the hat looks a little similar. Maybe they were inspired by Cole by like, oh, this is what a spirit kind of looks like. What if we do this? The way that they talk is kind of spirity, but it's not quite the same thing. It's just a spirit. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't mean to ruin your theory, but it's not true. Your shirt discount. Well, then that makes this a worse game for it if it completely discounts decisions.
Can't travel this way.
The gods are trying to slow us down, which means we can do some real good here.
I can travel that. I can make that. Don't tell me what to do. I feel like my character could jump farther. 1 out of 10 game. Can't go farther this way, can I? Ooh. Mirrors upon mirrors. This place is amazing. June's normal Eluvians function with twinned lyrium fragments. One always leads to another. Sola somehow talked the crossroads into making fate Eluvians that override them. His own network to run a rebellion. Provided you ignore all the old stories about holding up mirrors to mirrors and creating caught in the infinite reflections. Interesting. If you knew how many times I mess up a jump in this game. I mean, I have a theory that's quite a lot. Okay, Crossroads Islands, Codex entry, that's fine.
Yeah, this dock seems sturdy.
Ooh.
So you can ferry us to the other islands?
Winds await, dweller.
Also, this is...
Take that as a yes.
Thank you, Rook. So the people look at this and they're like, oh yeah, that's Cole. Because Cole looks like a ferryman to the in the underworld. Still don't buy it. Video idea. Why this isn't Cole from Inquisition.
We sail. Farewell for now.